What episode is this?
111.
111?
111.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
You can't play that thing. We're gonna get copyrighted.
I don't care. I don't care anymore about copyright, okay? I'm going to play Fergie London Bridge if I want.
You get copyrighted on everything now.
So, welcome to episode 111 of the Straight and Curly podcast. I'm your co-host, Omid. I go by Curly. This guy over here is my brother, the other co-host. He goes by the name Straight, a.k.a. Neema, a.k.a. Young Neems.
Young Names. I've never heard that. No one's ever called me that.
This is a show about nothing. It started out as nothing, and it continues to be about nothing. But sometimes it's about something, and it's always about nothing.
That's facts.
And actually, did you ever have any nicknames in your life?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I did a video on that.
You did?
Yeah,
Like you yourself had nicknames?
for sure. Yeah.
What were they?
Like people called me?
Yeah, like what were your nicknames?
It's funny. I literally just posted that video like
Really?
2 days ago. Yeah.
I didn't watch this.
You didn't see it?
I don't watch any of your
Yeah, that's
stuff.
true. You don't watch. I forget. You hate my fucking material. So I did a video. Oh, I thought I heard an echo. I did a video pretty much like making fun of people who don't know how to pronounce my name. And they just call me everything but my actual name. So I've gotten Neemaz, Neemans, Neemas, Azima, Nazim, Nazima, Azim, Naiman.
So like basically not
Not
even
even close.
close.
But those are just like names that people think my name is, not my actual nicknames that I've gotten in my life.
Yeah, what do your friends call you like in high school?
It's just Neems.
It was always
Neems
been
is
Neems?
Neems is the main one.
Neems.
Neems is everywhere. And it's so funny because it's not just high school. Like it's anyone who ever meets me just naturally calls me names. And I don't even tell them. I don't
Really?
know why. It's always been a pattern. Everyone's called me Neems.
Neems.
Names.
Nemers.
Like Austin's like the only one called me Neemer. Yeah, Moses Neemer. So dumb. Neems. Nemo was like my elementary school nickname.
Oh, yeah.
Nemo.
Oh, that's probably around when the movie came out
Finding
too,
Nemo
right?
came out,
Yeah.
exactly. So everyone was like a kid and they were calling me Nemo. And then it kind of died out in high school a little bit. And then, that's when Neems happened. And it's always been Neems to this day. To this day.
To this day.
And then I think there's one more, but I think it's just those two. Neems and, Well, Neemas was like, it's funny because I made a password, I think, called Neemas on one of my accounts, like in high school. And I just jokingly, I think you called me that sometimes, like some other people called me Neemas.
Yeah, Neemas.
Neemas, because that's like literally I named like it's one of my fucking usernames for one of my like bank accounts.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, don't steal my bank information if you're listening. But I think that's it. And then
But
What about
people
you?
usually pronounce it correctly. Your name.
Well, if they know my name,
No, but
Neema.
even if they first like read it or like see it, like it's hard to mispronounce it. Do you not
The
think?
first name, Neema.
Yeah,
But
Neema.
people still mess it up. I still get Naima, Neiman, Newman. Oh, Newman is a fucking new one. People keep calling me Newman.
It's like obviously my name is not Newman.
Newman, yeah, that's a funny one. But it's because of my Instagram. It's my social media name, Neema Naz.
Oh, Neema.
People always
people
think it's one word. It's like they forget the N in the middle for some reason.
It's pretty
It's
interesting.
Neemans
Yeah.
or Neemaz.
I guess like because for everybody else, myself included, like it's so obvious to us where the separation is between Neema and Naz.
Yeah,
Obviously, I get it. Like you look at it, you're like
it's just like
Neeman,
you,
yeah.
you miss it.
Neemanez. Yeah,
Neemanez,
yeah.
yeah. Neemanez, yeah, it's a fucking Mexican name. Or Nemanja, which is Serbian.
You ever had anybody mispronounce your name like going off on a show somewhere?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
stand-up?
all the fucking time.
Really?
All the time.
What do they say there?
Same shit that I just said. Those are the names
Oh, right.
that I've heard my whole life that people mispronounce.
I bring it up because so I was looking at the footage from the vlog over the weekend, and I was like really watching like the scenes from inside the comedy club, Corner Comedy Club, and even for me, who's both been there and been to many comedy shows in my life, for some reason watching even though it's you, like even I'm watching, like for some reason watching you with the camera in the comedy club, it had like this like documentary effect almost.
Yeah,
and
I know, it's cool, right?
Anyway, so we can talk about that in a second, but I was bringing it up because he kind of mispronounced your name, and I was the part that I was like editing in as like just like whatever. And then I was also going to ask you like, so that looked like it was the longest set I've seen you do in a while.
Yeah, definitely.
15 minutes, right? That's how long the video. There's like 16-minute video pretty much with like the beginning and the end.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, that was good though. But yeah, those guys pronounce. It's usually the white people who just kind of don't know a name like mine.
But they go for it.
But they go for it.
They have fucking courage. They just go for it.
But I mean, those guys I've done shows with a lot, so they know how to pronounce it pretty close at this point. I think they say like Naziri or some shit.
Like something like that. Yeah.
They never say Nazari, which is that's like not even the right technical way to say it. They just fob it up and be like Nazari, right? That's that's the right way to pronounce it. But no one's pronouncing it that way. Same with you though. Like you've gotten so many butchered
I guess slaughtered
names like over the years.
But it's just not even close. It's not even. It's like Ahmed.
Yeah. What have you gotten?
Ahmed, Omid, Omit, Omad.
Omad. One meal a day.
But you're just not even trying. You know. Like
Omad. That's funny.
I was actually telling somebody, a friend of mine, the story about why in public I use the name David. Did I ever tell you this? I don't know if I've even told you this before.
I don't know.
So I was when I was like maybe 15 or 16 or something, when I was swimming still, we went to a meet in Quebec, and back then I guess like you had to write out the names of the form sheets with like pen and paper and fax them to like the host club and say, oh, like our people are coming and these are their names, and sort of like whatever, instead of email and type. And so I guess like my French Canadian coach has like super messy writing or just has like really cursive writing, I don't know, or whatever it is. And so they couldn't make out OMID.
Oh man.
And they thought it was DAVID. They're just like, oh, I guess it's David or whatever, fucking French. I don't know.
Wow.
And so the whole weekend I was David Nazari.
That's so funny.
And on because like all like the swim heats, right? Like you have your name and like whatever.
You're David.
I was just David the whole week.
That's
and then
so funny.
My team, everybody like should call me David the whole time.
That's true.
And it just kind of stuck because one of the things I found funny throughout my life was when I saw like our own parents are like a great example. They use like an English name.
Yeah.
Meaning like you know your name, like you have your Farsi name that your parents gave you or whatever, and then you came here and my dad's name is Henry and my mom's name is Amy.
Yeah, but their real names are fucking Habibullah and Akram.
Right. And like my name is like Omid and now I'm David. And like my other cousin is Azadeh and she's like something else, you know, it's like
it's like Ashkan and our cousin, like they call him Ash.
Yeah, Ash, yeah.
You can't do Ashkan. It's Ashkan.
It's Ashkan, yeah. And then they call him Trash Can and like all this shit, yeah.
Yeah, but like those are like easier Persian names.
I know.
There are some Persian names like there's no way you're introducing yourself to someone with your name. You have to change your name.
Same thing with a lot of those people who are Southeast Asian, like they have like long, you know, like 18 sometimes like I don't know, it's like really, really, it's just uncommon.
Yeah, you know, actually reminded me of one of the guys at my physio. Like Kaveh.
Yeah.
Like when he introduced himself,
right,
the first time I think, or maybe he was talking about introducing himself to someone else, and he said he pronounced his name Kaveh.
Right. Yeah.
Because like
I asked him about it too, and like it's just like an easier phonetic sounding like name.
It actually sounds pretty like Caribbean. Kaveh.
I know. Sounds
island.
Sounds sexy.
Sounds very sexy.
Yeah.
As opposed to Kaveh.
Yeah.
What white person's coming up to me like, hey, Kaveh?
No.
It's not happening.
No.
It's just, I don't know. It's so weird how like certain tones or like certain, you know, accents on words, people just can't say.
Do you find it difficult to pin down people's like pronunciation or like, like I guess their pronunciation, like when you're on stage? Like when you do crowd work, particularly.
What do you mean?
Do you find it like, because like I'm assuming you have to, you like talk to people, right?
Yeah.
And like, hey, well, like what's your name or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you find it like difficult sometimes to like hear people and like hear how they correctly said it and like repeat it back. Like I feel
a little bit.
I feel like that. I feel like that would be one of my points of like, how do I put this? Like uncomfortability, almost of like you're on stage, you're trying to feel like, yo, hey, what's your name? And they say something, you're just like, what?
Yeah.
Like I feel like
exactly
it's like
what I would do though.
The what part seems too like uncomfortable for me. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what I would do though.
I know, but I just feel like
I would literally just say what, and then people would laugh.
Yeah,
that's funny in itself.
I feel like it's I feel like the equivalent. I don't know, like you know when like you're at a party or something, or a club or something, people trying to talk to you. What?
Exactly.
Right? Just like constantly what?
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be the same thing on stage, and like because I'm saying this on the back of like I'm assuming you don't want the flow of the what you're saying and the joke, and like you want like when that person says something and not have to stomp the with what or what did you say and like it sort of.
I guess so. It depends.
I just my
I don't think so. I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah,
it's not a problem because the whole point is to ask the questions anyways. You're stopping. You're set to ask people questions.
What are the things you ask them like usually to get enough like information to like do crowd work on them? Do you see what I'm saying? Like what are your go-to like where are you from or who you with or like I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
it's just the basic questions at first. Like just like, hey, what's your name? Like what are you doing? And like what do you do for work? Or what are you guys' relationship? How long have you been together? Oh, are you guys in a what is this group? What are you guys doing?
And like, are you leading people down like a certain place you want them to get to so you can make it funny, or like you're probing to see like what could I make funny from this?
Yeah, both. Yeah, because sometimes you'll do some crowd work and you won't know where to take it, so you have to move on. Literally, you just ask someone a question. You can't if you can't think of something funny on the spot, you just move on to the next person.
And you like, how do you do it gracefully, right? Like
nothing. You just like sometimes I literally would just be like, hey, what's up? What's your name? Blah blah blah. Oh, what's your name? Okay, nice. And you guys together? Yeah, cool. How long have you been together? 3 months. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So you're in the honeymoon phase? Yeah. Okay, cool. I have no joke here. So anyway, what do you guys? And then like I don't know, people laugh at that. It's like if you just can't think of anything, it is what it is. You figure that out on stage.
Do you feel like people generally are, like do you sense that people are excited to be at a comedy show and they want to like interact or engage with like, or do you find like they have this like don't look at me sort of like don't look at me syndrome of like leave me alone, or like can you sense it? Like because I'm assuming you make eye contact a little bit too, and like being like a sophisticated human person that you are, and you have this brain in your side of you, you can sense body language and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you have to make eye contact. If they're avoiding eye contact, then they're probably really shy and you know they don't want to be called on, but you still do it because you're a comedian and you don't give a fuck. Like,
do you like at that moment know you're making them uncomfortable and like you're bringing them out of their shell? Like you obviously not trying to make them not have a good time, but you're trying to like take them out of their comfort zone, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's just, I get what
yeah, because you want to include everyone. That's why. But also, it takes some skill to do that, and also the right people to do it. Like some comedians can't do that at all. I think I'm pretty strong on doing that. It's like one of my strong suits.
And do you think it's like a risk doing crowd work?
100%. Because it could just fall completely flat, and then you have to just continue doing your material. And the crowd work was for nothing.
I think one of the hardest parts of like seeing like so many comedians, I think, is that when they do struggle with sets, because I've had the chance to see a lot of like amateur comics, is this transition out of like a bad joke, like a joke that then fell flat or whatever. Yeah. And I relate that to like playing sets, like playing music. It's like sometimes you go and you try something. And so I was trying to like ask to sort of see like, what were the parallels of like playing music and like DJing and like that kind of stuff in a venue or a club or something like that. Yeah. And there are those moments, right, where you try something, you're like, I'm just going to go for it, man. It's 1 a.m. Party's pumping. Fuck it. Yeah, some shit like that. And you, in a sense, do crowd work because you've been doing crowd work the whole night. So it's not a perfect parallel, but I guess in a sense, like you are there before and typically after. And exactly. You sometimes even frequent the club on off nights or on other nights, and you've seen enough where maybe you sort of have like a general guideline of like what kind of,
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point of why you should watch the host every single show.
What do you mean?
You should always watch the host, at least, if you're not going to watch the other comedians. Because the host is the one that's starting the show, and he sets the tone for the rest of the night.
Oh,
so you get to see how the crowd reacts to what this guy's doing with his crowd work, or his or her crowd work and their material.
Right.
And then you base your set off that. So sometimes
interesting.
if I see the crowd work's not working, actually it depends, because sometimes crowd work doesn't work for the host, but then I want to go up and challenge myself and be like, well, I think my crowd work will work.
Right.
And then I'd go, and then usually bombs, because from the very start they weren't down.
Right.
But there are times when they do like it, and then that's a fucking win, and that feels great. But or like you see like what kind of content they laugh at, what type of material content. You see what kind of material they laugh at, and then you can also base your set off that too. What kind of material you want to work on while you're on stage that they might like. But then again, what I've also heard on the other side of it of like, you just got to do your shit. You just got to do your set.
I was gonna say that too.
Like you don't need to cater to anybody, but also like you can see where people are swaying towards, but you don't need to cater exactly to what their needs are, because everyone's different. But at the end of the day, you just have to just do your set, and that's it.
And how did it feel? How did it feel being on stage
last night or 2 nights ago?
2 nights ago, yeah.
Very exhilarating, man. It felt great. It felt like I was back in my element. It's the best feeling ever. It feels great. I thought I was gonna be rusty. Like I didn't feel rusty at all. It was weird. Like it felt like I was deprived. That's why. And I went up, and like the crowds were hot both times.
Meaning like they're just ready to
laugh, and they're excited as well, just as much as I am, to just be there and be out and have a good time. And yeah, there's great reciprocation of laughter throughout the whole night, and yeah, man, it felt really good.
Do you like ever get on stage and just think to yourself like, everyone's looking at me?
Yeah.
Right now.
Especially when you're bombing, yeah.
I'm talking and everyone's looking at me.
Sometimes I zone out as I'm telling a joke. In my head, I'm like, everyone's literally just staring at me, and I think I'm funny.
Yeah.
And then like they're just looking,
like
so weird,
just sitting there.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, what is this guy fucking trying to say?
Yeah.
Have you actually? I don't know if you've talked about this before, but hecklers.
Yeah.
And people who interrupt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you get that often? And like,
no, I rarely get.
What is
that.
it like?
It's
like it's usually just some drunk person, or like people have like. Do people actually sometimes like? You fucking suck.
No, yeah, I mean like I've never gotten that before, but like people talk during this set. Heckling just doesn't mean someone's just like yelling something at you. It could be their phone going off. It could be like they're out texting or some shit, or distraction to the show, right? They're talking to somebody else. They're too loud, whispering to their friend. Yeah, there's so many things like that, but I've never gotten anything extreme. Just people talking to each other in the back, whispering. You can hear them. They're louder than fucking I am. So, you just have to tell them to shut up. But there's people who've gotten way worse than I did that I know. And I've seen it firsthand. It's pretty funny, but I don't know. I think especially in Canada, you're never going to see that. You'll rarely see hecklers over here. In the States, you'll see way more. States. Yeah, which I have seen more. Yeah, there. Because people are more, I don't know, they're more upfront over there, I guess. They're not afraid to speak their mind.
Like they yell back and stuff?
Yeah, 100%. They just say shit. They're just like fucking just yelling shit. Which is pretty weird, but it doesn't add to the show. It just disrupts the show.
Right.
Heckling's not something that comedians like or want.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because like if you do end up heckling, then you're just gonna get ruined, it's just gonna end bad, and it just kind of kills the vibe of the room for a little bit.
I feel like
the flow.
Yeah, I feel like the people that like the comedians that are really good at handling like hecklers or criticism or whatever, they almost like it's like a knockout punch to that person because they're so witty and they're so there's something to be said about like that person's like instantaneous sort of like connecting of dots that creates a comeback. That's like I think it's I don't know if it's a sign of intelligence necessarily. I think it's probably some measure of it because I think that like being witty, or like, I guess that is wittiness, right? Like being able to like quickly,
yeah.
I don't know if I'm witty in all or any, most senses in the world, but I know for some reason when it comes to like TV or movie like scenes or quotes or something or some whatever, I'm super on it. But
yeah, I'm not like that at all.
I
don't. You have a special talent there. Like there's, I don't know any lines from any movies or shows.
What?
I don't know any lines from any movies or shows. I couldn't tell you. Like I couldn't tell you exactly lines.
Oh man,
I forget them immediately. Like I know the general basis of what they said in the show or movie, but unlike like you, like I can't quote like actual lines. I never remember them.
Yeah, I feel like,
but they're good. They're good lines to know, because sometimes it's pop culture, right? It's
right.
Like people relate to that stuff when you're talking to them in person. It's like it's good to know in conversation sometimes.
Yeah, I exactly.
Yeah.
In conversations, I see that sometimes, like when I look back on what I said in the moment, like during conversation or whatever, I realize that like a lot of these memories that have come from shows and movies and whatever, like have imprinted me to the point of like sometimes like scenes or things, quotes or things that people say in a movie or a show or something, almost as like it's like shaped my view on something, or like my tastes or my preferences in a sense. And like I think it's just interesting to look back and be like, oh, that's why I use that word a lot, or that's why I love this team or this like place, or like why I'm so impartial to this like city, for example.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with somebody, I don't know when, but it was something like how interesting it is to sort of look back at the things that you've done throughout your life that have been directly because of an influence of like a movie or pop culture of some kind, like that have like in some sense almost like this person said, you know, movies and shows raised me. Like, you know, let's say you live in a situation where like your parents are not home all the time or at all, and like you're sort of left to your own devices in a sense, like no pun intended, but left your own devices. And so you sort of just like start to witness human behavior, I feel like, through shows, and like you form your sense of what's funny through comedy, like as an easy example, or you form like what you're fearful of. Maybe sometimes I wonder, like horror, for example, is an interesting thing, interesting example for me, because like I can't watch
you're
any.
a little bitch when it comes to horror.
I can't watch any of it, right? But
I don't know how, man.
I even when I ask myself like, would I watch it during the day with like the windows open and the lights on or whatever, I still wouldn't do it. I don't know. So maybe that, I'm not saying for sure, but I'm saying maybe this is an example of maybe my first introduction to horror movies or something was too traumatic. Built up. No, it was like built up. Like I like some of my early memories of like horror movies were like Jeepers Creepers, and
it's not even horror, bro. That's the funniest movie I've ever seen.
No, but listen to what I'm saying. But when you're like 9 or 12 or 11 or whatever, and you're older cousins, and it's you're at somebody else's house, and it's a dark room, and all the parents are having their party, and like, you know, you're in the a kid's room, and like, you know, people like they always try to like stir the pot sort of thing, or like, you know, it's a tense moment, and somebody will just like poke you or jump out at you. Like they'll make it way worse than it actually at all should be, because I agree with you, it's a stupid movie, it's not even scary. But the imprint of like the people that I've watched the entertainment with, or the entertainers in the shows or the things that I've seen, when it comes to horror, for some reason like have imprinted me in this case. And like, I just think it's an interesting observation, you know, to see how impacted and influenced you might actually be from like things that you just call like, oh, it's my favorite show, but you in your brain you're kind of like, it's my favorite show, and like it lives over here, it has nothing to do with my brain and how I see the world and whatever. Right. Whereas I don't know. I think a big time it does. I think in a big way that it does. Yeah.
Well, if you don't learn anything about life through your family, then you naturally will jump to the shows to as a reference point. For sure, which is what most children. Yeah, or do.
People at school, or people, or teachers, school, or out in this world. Yeah.
So wait, have you watched a full horror movie?
No.
You've never sat down and finished a whole horror movie in one sitting? Well,
you have to define horror movie, right? Like
the genre of horror. I don't know.
Like sure,
a scary movie.
But I think like Jeepers Creepers is scary.
You little bitch.
Hey man.
That's bro. I watched that shit in grade
truth.
6 with two of my friends, and we were dying laughing. That shit is not scary.
Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay, that's a
No
scary
way.
one. That I'm scared
I think
of that.
like I think Blair Witch Project was terrifying.
Oh, so I haven't even seen that actually. I should watch that.
But none of these I watched all the way through. Like
just watched
I
it
have
all
an almost perfect track record of getting up and walking
Wow,
away,
that's crazy.
or
like-
not, or just not engaged. Be like, nah, I'm not.
Like, why though? Do you think it like what's gonna happen if you finish the movie?
I have no idea. So this is the thing. I can't actually answer the question. Like, why can't I sit through it? I just, just the thought of it. I don't know. Like, it's too. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm too soft or too optimistic, and I don't know, or
Yeah.
or I'm just like all rainbows and ponies and
You can't have
popsicles
dark
and everything
energy.
is Or I don't know. Maybe I'm saying
Yeah.
maybe that is the case. I don't know.
It's like you're afraid that like you're gonna have like dark thoughts like after it, or like when you have nightmares when you sleep.
yeah, that's possible.
Like, have you had nightmares before?
Yeah, but not
When you're sleeping?
necessarily because of
Horror
not
movies?
necessarily because of horror movies. No,
Right,
and
but
I
just-
don't know if I'm necessarily scared of that. I guess what I'm probably actually afraid of is the uncertainty of feeling that afraid. Even though I know it's a movie, like right now as I sit here, I know it's a movie.
Yeah. But
And that's it. But like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this is sometimes I like, because I have thought about this before, and I like one of the things I don't also like is like poop talk, like bathroom stuff.
It bothers me.
I
They don't
hate
like it.
I
It
hate
pisses
it.
me off.
So this is kind of
Fuck.
like a darker extension of that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
That's so weird. I'm like the complete opposite.
even right now, like just saying the words, I have to not think about it for like at least an hour or more, or else I won't be able to like eat food.
Are you serious?
Like right now, I'm forbidding you from saying
What,
get on this
shit?
episode. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking around. But for real,
That's
like
crazy. But you can talk about it, but other people
no.
can't.
I dude, you don't even understand. Like, I don't even like thinking about it. I'm like doing even my own. Like,
That's so weird.
I like keeping the bathroom as clean as I can. I like being as like like just like get in there, beautiful, nice, do my thing, and like close
Yeah.
the door and like
That's it.
Only go in
Like-
there when I need to.
Like you never like okay like just I'm not gonna talk about it, but I
Thanks.
think about it all day.
Ew.
Like I don't know, for some reason I just enjoy thinking about it. Like going to the washroom, like I'm gonna fucking take a fat dookie. Like you don't think about this shit at all?
No.
I think all day I spent time thinking about it. Like how I'm gonna do it, like, how many times I'm gonna do it, what it's gonna be like, everything. I literally that's all I think about.
Oh, why?
It's like we're complete opposites. That something like fucking traumatized you when you're a kid that like you can't think about it. Like obviously it has to be that and the horror movies. Something happened for sure.
It was a hard knock life, bro. What do you want me to tell you?
Like what's your beef with fucking toilet talk?
I don't know, man. I can't even talk about not talking about it. That's how much I don't like
fucking
it.
insane. That's
I
insane.
I have to after this go and actually wash my brain with
That's
like
hilarious.
dog videos or something and like numb myself on purpose. This is how much I don't like it.
Are those the only two things that you don't like talking about the most? That like you just like it's like
gross me out. Is that ultimately that's
just
the
in
question
general,
you're
because
asking?
you're saying you don't even want to think about those things,
I hate it.
right? What else don't you want to think about? In like topics of conversation that makes you uncomfortable, I guess.
I guess like in a different way. Like this kind of grosses me out. Those two
Yeah.
topics. In another sense, topics that are I don't know if there's really anything really uncomfortable. Like maybe, sure. Like I don't necessarily like talking about the endless like disease that's happening and like
Yeah. All right, I'm on board with that.
like animal cruelty. Like it's it's not that I don't necessarily want to know, but if it was up to me, like. Yeah, I guess I would rather talk about other stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. That's still shit, but it's not as shit because no pun intended.
Ironically, yeah.
Ironically, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, disease stuff. I'm on the same board with that, but
Yeah,
like, I feel like, but if you block those things out, is that good or bad? You know what I'm saying? I always think about that. I'm like, isn't it good to talk through that
I
shit?
just changed my mind. I just think about something else.
But do you think like you're maybe like losing out on information if you don't talk about it?
Yeah, I'm certain that I am, and this is information I'm happily willing to be living without and be naive to.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm the complete opposite. I love horror movies. Man, I've literally forced myself to sit in a dark room and watch a horror movie on like by myself with no one in the house.
Okay, let me ask you this question. It's slightly off topic, but I've been meaning to ask you like, do you consider yourself a true movie buff, like a movie buff? You know how they say like a movie fanatic?
No, I don't. I like movies, but I'm not a movie buff.
So I used to think that I was that about myself, and one of the things was because I've heard this before in my life, where like, how do you remember that? How do you remember like and
you watch it 37 times,
or like I'm so I used to mistake that with I really love movies and shows and whatever. Really, I just love numbing myself, so I don't have to think about like other parts of my life and obviously I did this for so long that I never connected those two dots, but it was curious to me, right, when I realized so much time was spent looking at scenes or movies or shows of like images that I knew were predictable because they brought a level of certainty.
Yeah.
And this is like sort of in a weird way to tie it back to the horror thing, is like because of the lack of certainty and therefore uncertainty, like you're
uncomfortable.
You're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And, right. So with the movie thing, like I always thought in my mind, because I watched so much of them, I must love it. And like that must be something that and to some degree that is true. Like I really do seek out, I'm cool with new shows and new people and new actors and new, like I'm into like new projects and whatever. When I realized like so much of my time was spent watching reruns and like rewatching them and over and over and over and over. It's like, that's not necessarily your love for the theater or like love for cinema sort of film, or so to speak. It's more so
you just like the comedies.
I just liked putting something on in the background that would give me like like it would almost, it's like an excuse for not doing anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's a good enough thing to do. You're like, oh well, I'm chilling. I'm watching something right now. I'm watching something.
Yeah, exactly.
So, not always great.
No, I remember. Yeah, you just literally watch the same shows and movies, like just recycling them.
I read an article that talked a little bit about like, people who yearn for like consistency, or like they yearn for predictability or certainty. Yeah. And like they have like, man, I'm not trying to make myself out to be like some kind of like survivor of anything. It's just some people's shit that happens to them and forces them to the traumas that they come to. One of them is, shows up in this like deep fear of things being different or not being the same as they were the day before, because that now equals rejection or abandoning, or it's somehow like, it's different and it's personal to you. It has something to do with you and it's happening because of you. Yeah. It's like weird, but with shows and stuff like that, like, rewatching The Office, and I know I'm not the only person, but it's almost like a cultural joke in a sense, and a meme of like rewatching it over and over and over and over again. I'm not saying this is 100% of what's going on, but like, it'd be curious to know in some way, I don't know how you would ever find this out, but like, it'd be curious to know like how many of you are watching this simply because it's kind of like just a numb, like it's an opportunity to go numb and tell yourself you're doing something that's passing the time in a marginally meaningful way that makes the day good enough and makes it bearable. I'm not saying it like you should do more, and I'm not saying the David Goggins thing right now. I'm saying like I get like you're just trying to make it through the day to some extent for some people.
It's the reality of the world, man.
But the great thing is, artists like you are typically the ones who are most like sought out during difficult or uncertain times.
Yeah.
And like the art you guys create, and like I was listening to an episode of Rogan, I think, and he was talking about it was Andrew Schultz. Actually, you brought it up yourself.
Yeah, Schulte.
And the importance of like more now than ever at least as far as our lifetimes go, the need for some different voices and different fresh perspectives and different people who are still adding to the lightness of like the world in a sense.
I think, well, without that, the world would be a very sad fucking place. Look at North Korea. It's the same shit.
In a way, like, since we're becoming second-class citizens now, I think that, like, well, my guess is that, like, this might push people into more, like, underground prohibition era sort of style things.
Definitely.
And one of the things that I think is really interesting that comes out of those moments of time, like, throughout history, as far as I can tell, is that there's this sort of birth of a new style of art or a new style form in the artistic realm of like comedy or music or whatever the case is. And like, you know, we ourselves are trying to, in a way, reimagine and sort of redo the experience of stand-up comedy. And we know that because of like certain mandates now, like we can't have like events at certain venues on our own or even on somebody else's behalf because like we can't even enter the building, let's say.
Yeah.
What's cool about that, and I think the optimism in that is like, well, okay, how can we play offense? It's like, all right, well, we're not allowed to have our own gatherings, right? So if I start doing things privately, and this is kind of like where you try to hide from people who are going to try to seek you out, or you try to just go to alternative places to do things. And anyways, I think that like that kind of suppression from people who want to limit the things that are said about whatever thing they're trying to protect ultimately ends up biting them in the ass, because those people aren't just like going to get deleted off earth, like just because you disagree with them or disagree with you. It's not like they're just gone.
Yeah.
They'll just go do their own thing as they have been, and probably even more. Yeah. Because it's kind of like that don't press the red button idea, exactly. Right? And like keep telling me to not press it, and it's like, all right, well,
it's like reverse psychology.
So
that's what happens when you restrict someone. When you restrict someone so much, they're gonna binge.
Yeah,
I know all about that.
You have to force through. You're gonna have to break the Kool-Aid guy. You're gonna have to break through another
the wall. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that guy's
Kool-Aid. I haven't had Kool-Aid in a fucking minute. When was the last time you had Kool-Aid?
At least 20 or more years ago.
20 years, you say?
Maybe more.
You're 31 right now.
Maybe
you're
even
saying
more.
The last time you had it was 11? No way.
Maybe even earlier.
What?
Nah, Kool-Aid. Dude, no way.
I think last time I had it was like
it's sugar
16.
water.
Sugar 16 water. Or 17 maybe when I was last time I had it. That's crazy. 10 years for me, like it's like I never like I used to like drinking stuff like that a little bit. I didn't drink it a lot, but I did. But I'm surprised. I'm actually very happy. I didn't really. I was addicted too much to that shit, like I was with food. Otherwise, I'd be fucked.
Yeah.
If I was addicted to pop and juice, I'd be fucked. Like it took this long just to cure my food addiction, let alone fucking drinks.
Soda addiction.
Soda.
Yeah. Well, let's leave that for future Neema and his problems.
Yeah.
Luckily, we don't have those.
I know.
This was great.
Yeah.
We have a call, and
we gotta go.
It's nice, short and sweet. This was episode 111 of the Straight and Curly podcast.
Straight and Curly.
I have no idea what we talked about or how we got here to this moment, but it was great to be here with you. And we hope to see you for episode 112.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for listening. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Yes, we will.
Of the Straight and Curly.
Thank you very much.
All right, later.
Okay, bye, everybody.